We are studying the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. We've been the last few weeks talking about the yamas, the moral codes, how we show up and live our lives. And although oftentimes we read these as like the 10 commandments, the don'ts, don't be violent, don't tell lies, we've been studying how there's a big do in each one of those. And the big do is how you show up as a yogi for all the aspects of your life. So these 5 elements of the yamas are important for us to say, how do I want to be? How do I want to conduct myself in the world and stand? So each of these yamas is a way for us to hold value in the way that we live our lives. And in that, I was saying this week, we don't have to wear the robes of a spiritual person. We don't wear white robes of a yogi and, sort of announce to the world like, I'm a yogi. Instead, we wear householders' clothes, we wear normal clothes, and we are a yogi through our actions. So our first action, I'm just going to review a little bit, was rather than being violent, we're going to be loving and kind. And our second one was to speak the truth and to be authentic. And last week was to not steal from others, meaning I keep only what I can use and surround myself with what I love, and I give away the things that I can't use. So the next, which is the 4th, is brahmacharya, which has to do with intimacy. Some of the older texts talk about being celibate, but because we're householders, we are in relationship. We do get married and have children and families. And so this one to me is so important because it has everything to do with how you show up in your relationships and be respectful and value this at the highest level. I believe love is the greatest gift on this planet. And so the yogi is called to hold great value and respect to the person that they love. The last of the yamas is aparigraha, which translates in English to non-hoarding or non-grasping, and it's very similar to asteya, not stealing. But this one even goes a little bit further, which is to say, I don't gather things and hoard them and keep them, because as a yogi, I have faith and I trust. I trust in my future, and I know that I will always have enough if I live in this place of knowing that I can be content with whatever I have. I love it because it also correlates with the koshas. And as we get deeper into the layers of who we are, into the deepest kosha, it's a kosha of bliss. And that bliss has nothing to do with what's happening in my external world, how much money I have in the bank account, how many degrees I hold, what kind of car I drive, but it has everything to do with your internal comfort, your internal acceptance of who you are and what's happening in your life at the time, despite the storms of life. So I feel like that's a beautiful parallel to support this idea of not having to hoard because of fear of our future, but to trust and know that as a yogi, that we have what we need. And to, again, live simply knowing that we have what we need, and to trust and live in that place of faith. So join me for a conference. I break down these all just a little bit more and have fun with a few of these, but it's so beautiful to study the yamas and to say, this is, every time we come to our yoga mat, this is what we are really receiving as a gift that we take from our yoga breath and our yoga asanas and our sweat and our poses that we take from that. They're just vehicles to help us show up in the world as these beautiful, loving, kind, generous, faithful beings.